The story begins, and we are shown a scene of ancient Rome where an architect named Lucas was quite famous for his designs. However, people had started to find his designs quite useless lately, and due to not getting any work for several months, he had become an unemployed engineer. Moreover, his money had also run out, and he was extremely stressed. To cheer him up, a friend takes him to a Republic bathhouse, but Lucas feels very uncomfortable seeing the naked people and the atmosphere there. To relax and think about new designs, he takes off his clothes and enters the pool. Sitting inside the pool, he tries to calm himself, but then he notices a hole in the pool wall from which water is flowing out. As he gets closer to inspect it, the strong current of water pulls him in. He tries to escape, but the flow is too strong, and it drags him away, transporting him to another place. He emerges in the present time, in a modern bathhouse where some elderly people are bathing. Seeing the Japanese people there, he initially mistakes them for flat-faced individuals. When he notices the technology around him, like bucket fans, hair dryers, vibrators, and other gadgets, he is astonished. The Japanese people, thinking he is a foreigner, treat him kindly. Lucas believes he is still under the swimming pool and that these people are slaves. However, when he steps out of the bathhouse, he realizes he has traveled to another world. He then enters a ladies' bathhouse, where many women scream in fear upon seeing him. One of them hits him on the head with a box, knocking him unconscious. As he faints, a girl named Miami arrives and starts sketching him, as she aspires to be a cartoonist. The elderly men who had seen Lucas earlier arrive, pick him up, and take him to a male bathhouse. They dress him in a towel and make him sit down. One of the men offers him a glass of milk, which Lucas finds incredibly tasty. He wonders how the people of the future have made milk so delicious. The scene shifts back to ancient Rome, where Lucas's friend is trying to wake him up. When Lucas regains consciousness, he thinks it was all a dream, but then he finds the milk carton next to him, realizing that it was real. The story then jumps forward a few months, showing Lucas's new designs inspired by what he saw in the future. He incorporates elements like hair dryers, baskets, and flavored milk into his designs, which attract many customers. An old man in the pool tells Lucas that he wishes such bathing facilities were available in every home, as many poor people cannot afford to visit bathhouses. As the old man's scrubber falls into the pool, Lucas dives in to retrieve it. While underwater, he ponders how to bring bathing facilities to every home in Rome. Suddenly, the water currents transport him back to the present time, where he finds himself in a personal bathroom with hot water. Seeing the hot water, Lucas uses his engineering mind to think about how it is heated. He uses his engineering mind and begins to think that perhaps some slave is heating the water by lighting a fire from below. Then an old man comes there and gives Lucas a cloth, asking him to free himself from the palace on his back. The old man then puts on a bathing head and starts bathing. Seeing this, Lucas gets lost in thought again. Just then, he notices a spray and presses its trigger. It goes into his eyes, and then he disappears. He finds himself back in ancient times, where now, the old man has arranged for a servant and more to help Lucas bathe. The Romans, seeing all of Lucas's inventions, make him the chief architect of Rome. His wife is also very happy that her husband has become the chief architect of Rome. She tries to tell him everything that has been happening, but she ignores his words, wanting to have children with him. However, Lucas is not interested in having children, as he is already troubled by the technology of the flat-faced tribes. His wife gets angry and leaves. Then, a man from the Roman Empire, Antonio, arrives at his door and tells him that King Hadrian has called for him. King Lucius also liked Lucas's design of a bathing house, and now King Hadrian wants Lucas to create a design for him that he has never made before. Since it was about the Roman king, Lucas couldn't ignore their request, so he agrees to work for them and starts thinking about a new design. However, Lucas is troubled because, so far, all the designs he has created aren't his own, he has been copying ideas from others. He thinks he should go back to the tribes and see their technology again. He runs towards the public bathing house, hoping to return to the future, but on the way, he falls into a water-filled pit. When he gets out, he finds himself in a bathroom store in the present time, where Miami also works. Lucas is very happy to see this, but an employee working with Miami gets scared upon seeing him and goes to call the boss. Lucas starts drying off his clothes, and Miami, feeling embarrassed, gives him a towel to wrap around himself. Afterward, Lucas gives her a coin and asks her to take him around the store. Lucas is very carefully examining the pay sink when the store owner arrives, and he takes Lucas to another part of the store, where he is amazed to see a jacuzzi and a TV. He starts thinking that the technology of these people is far ahead of Rome's technology. Just then, Lucas needs to use the latrine, so he asks Miami about it. She takes him to the toilet. He doesn't understand what it is, but as soon as he moves forward, the toilet seat automatically opens. He sits on it and starts thinking about how many slaves must have been kept locked behind this bathroom by the safe, flat-faced people for this technology. Just then, he accidentally presses a button, causing the flushing mechanism to activate. When the water sprays onto his body, he feels as if he has been transported to heaven. Meanwhile, Miami's boss arrives there searching for him, but when they forcefully enter the toilet, they find that he has already disappeared. However, the people end up getting splashed with the water. Now, the scene shifts to a few months later, where Lucius has built a private bath for the emperor. He had even installed a device to wash the king's backside, which the emperor and his servants found amusing. Lucius had also copied Jacuzzi's TV idea, replacing the TV with a fish tank containing jellyfish. King Lucas was very pleased with Lucius's inventions and happily gifted him something. Curious about what the gift was? You'll have to see for yourself. Lucius, overjoyed, takes the precious gift to show his wife. But when he arrives home, he finds his best friend in bed with his wife. Enraged, Lucius storms out. Meanwhile, in the present, Miami has been fired from her job because her boss suspected her of being involved with her friend. She moves to a new city for a new job, where she works as a cleaner in a bathhouse. Miami shows Lucius the coin and toga she found, and the elders inform her that these items are from ancient Roman times. Intrigued, Miami starts reading about ancient Rome and King Harding. Back in ancient times, Lucius is drowning in sorrow over his wife's betrayal when a special envoy of the king arrives and takes him to the palace. The king tells Lucius that his only son recently drowned in the Nile River. After his death, crocodiles began bringing pieces of his son's body to him. The king demands that Lucius build a bathhouse for his son so that he can rest peacefully. He warns Lucius that if anything happens to his son's remains, he will have Lucius beheaded. Lucius inspects the crocodile bathhouse and enters the bath, but suddenly, bubbles start rising in the water, and he is teleported elsewhere. He finds himself in a place where people are worshipping a boy sitting on a statue, praying for fertility. When Lucius appears, the women swarm around him, but he manages to escape back into the water. This time, he returns to the present, where the elders treat his injuries. They take him to a thermal pool, whose minerals help heal his wounds. They also feed him a boiled egg, which he enjoys, and give him a drink that makes him feel intoxicated. Believing he has been poisoned, he runs away and ends up at Miami's place. Miami realizes that Lucius is under the influence and gives him water from the thermal pool, which has detoxifying effects. After drinking it, he feels better. Miami, having learned some ancient Roman language from a book, starts conversing with him. Suddenly, Lucius slips and falls into the pool with Miami, transporting both of them to ancient times. There, the king's nephew takes a liking to Miami and tries to take her away, but Antonio intervenes and rescues her. Lucius then goes to the emperor and declares that he cannot build the bathhouse for the king's son because it goes against his principles to keep animals captive. This angers the king, who was already frustrated. the king punishes Lucius by banishing him from the kingdom. Meanwhile, in the present, the elders are seen near the pool. One of them tries to retrieve something from the pool but starts drowning. In their attempt to save him, all the elders end up drowning. Back in ancient times, Lucius is leaving the kingdom when he notices water flowing from the mountains. He tests it and realizes it contains the same minerals as the thermal pool. However, soldiers chase him away. Lucius returns to Rome, where Miami is overjoyed to see him and hugs him tightly. Miami asks Lucius what year it is, and he replies, 135 AD. Miami then reveals that in the future, the king's nephew will become emperor, Antonio will leave Rome and die in a plague, and the empire will face great turmoil. But he couldn't become a good king, which is why we need to stop him and make Antonio the king. After that, Lucas goes to the king, who is preparing for war with his commander. When Lucas arrives, he is stopped at the entrance, but when he says that Antonio sent him, he is allowed in. Then Lucas says that he wants to build a bathing horse near the junk field because it is a huge source of mineral springs, whose water has the ability to eliminate pain and heal wounds quickly. This way, our soldiers injured in the war will recover faster, and we will win the battle. The king likes Lucas's idea very much and thinks that Antonio must have asked him to work on it. Therefore, the king gives Lucas permission to build the bathing horse on the battlefield. Lucas, along with Miami and some friends, starts building the thermal pool at the location. However, they still don't have an idea of how to bring the water out. Then Miami notices the boards, which remind her of the people from her time who also arrived here after soaking in the thermal pool. The elderly people are very happy to see Miami, but they feel as if they have died and gone to another world. Meanwhile, one old man starts saying, "My dear, I have gone, where are you?" Miami calms them down and explains that they have traveled back in time and need to build a thermal bath here so that injured soldiers can come and heal. Among them is an old geological scientist who examines the land and starts working with Lucas. All the elderly people work together very well, and the scientist conducts his research. They work hard and successfully build one thermal pool after another. Meanwhile, the war has begun, and many soldiers are getting injured. All the injured soldiers are brought to the thermal pool for treatment, where they recover very quickly. However, the number of soldiers is very high, so they have to build many pools. The soldiers are very happy to see themselves healing in the pools. One day, Lucas and Miami are sitting and talking. Lucas thanks Miami, but Miami has started to develop feelings for Lucas, and Lucas also likes her. Then tears start falling from Miami's eyes, and she slowly begins to disappear. Miami says, "My time to leave has come." Lucas replies, "We will meet again." Then, along with Miami, the elderly people also disappear and return to their timeline. Several months later, King Hardin wins the war. After winning the war, King Hardin decides to keep Antonio with him in Rome forever because Lucas had presented the thermal pool plan as Antonio's idea to Hardin. Now, King Hardin decides to always keep Antonio by his side. He also thanks Lucas wholeheartedly and honors him. Lucas is also very happy, and so are the people. And with this, the movie ends here. So friends, how did you like this story? Do let me know by commenting. And those who are new to my YouTube channel, make sure to subscribe to my channel and press the bell icon next to it to select the All option.